Hello everyone, I'm Sudipta. Today we are going to read the story Dogger. It's written by Shirley Hughes. Now let's get started. Once there was a soft brown toy dog named Dogger. His one ear pointed upwards and the other flopped over. He was quite old and belonged to a boy named Dave. Dave really liked Dogger and took him everywhere. He sometimes rode him in a trolley and sometimes he pulled him with a string like a real dog. When it was cold, he wrapped him up in a blanket to keep him warm. When Dogger got very dirty, Dave's mom showed him how to wash him in a bowl of soapy water and then they hung him by his tail on the washing line to dry. Dave's baby brother Joe liked putting things in his mouth and biting them as he was getting his teeth. Dave's big sister Bella liked to take 7 teddies to bed with her every night. She slept right next to the wall so that she wouldn't fall off the bed. But Dave liked only Dogger. One day, Dave and Mom went to pick up Bella from school. Joe was in the pram and Dave had taken Dogger. Next to the school gate, at the playing field, some men with ladders were putting up colored flags. Mom told Dave there was going to be a summer fair to get money to buy things for the school. Dave pushed Dogger up against the railing to show him what was going on. Children started coming out of school and Bella came running with her satchel flying. An ice cream van came around the corner playing a tune. Bella wanted ice cream, so Mom gave her money for 2 cones. Joe didn't have the whole ice cream to himself because he was too dribbly. On the way back, Dave walked beside Joe and kept giving him licks off his ice cream. Joe kicked his feet and shouted for more in between licks. At tea time, Dave was quiet. At bath time, he was even quieter. At bedtime, he wanted Dogger. But Dogger was nowhere to be found. Mom looked under the bed. She looked behind the cupboard. She even searched in the kitchen. She searched underneath the stairs. Dave watched anxiously through the banisters, and Joe watched through the bars of his cot. Bella too joined in to look for Dogger. She turned her own toy box upside down in case Dogger was there. But he wasn't. When Dad came home, he looked for Dogger too. He searched in the shed and down the garden path with a torch. But Dogger was lost. Dave was very sad when he went to bed. Bella was very kind to lend him one of her teddies when he was going to sleep. But it wasn't the same as having Dogger. Dave kept waking up in the middle of the night and missing Dogger. The next day was Saturday, and they all went to the school summer fair. The playing field was full of stalls and shows. There were so many things to buy, so many games to play, and so many things to eat. There was also a fancy dress parade, and so many children dressed up for it. There was an egg and spoon race, a wheelbarrow race, and even a father's race. Bella was very good at races. She won the 3-legged race with her friend Barbara. They asked Dave if he too wanted to race, but Dave didn't feel like racing. He was missing Dogger too much. Bella won the first prize in a raffle. She won a huge yellow teddy bear wearing a beautiful blue silk bow. He was almost as big as Dave. Dave didn't like the teddy at all. At that moment, he didn't even like Bella as much because she kept on winning things. He went off to look at the stalls on his own. One lady had a toy stall which was full of knitted ducks, cars, and baby dolls in bonnets. And there, at the back of the stall, behind a lot of toys, was Dogger. He had a ticket which said 5p. There were a lot of people at the stall. Dave tried to explain to the lady that it was his dogger, who he had lost and she put it in the stall by mistake. But she wasn't listening. He searched his pocket and found 3 pennies. But that wasn't enough to buy Dogger. So he ran to find mom and dad to ask them to buy Dogger. He searched everywhere but couldn't find mom and dad. He thought he was going to cry when he suddenly found Bella. When she heard about Dogger, they both ran to the toy store as fast as they could. But something terrible had happened. A little girl had bought Dogger. She was walking off with him and Dave began to cry. Bella ran towards the girl and tried to explain that Dogger was her brother's dog and they would like to buy him back. But the little girl said no. She said she used her own money to buy Dogger and that she wanted him. She held on to him very tightly. Dave cried and cried, and the little girl started crying too. Then she suddenly saw Bella's big yellow teddy. She stopped crying and started stroking his beautiful blue silk bow. Then Bella did something very kind. She asked the little girl if she would like to swap Dogger for her big teddy. The little girl stopped crying and agreed. She gave Dogger and took the big yellow teddy, smiling as she walked off. Dave smiled too. He gave one big hug to Dogger and then hugged Bella round her waist. "Thank you, Bella," he said. That night, Dave had Dogger in his bed. Bella was practicing her somersaults when Dave asked her if she would miss her big yellow teddy. She said she wouldn't, as he was too big and his eyes were too staring, and if she had another teddy in her bed, there would be no more room for her. How kind had Bella been to think about her brother and give away her own big yellow teddy to get back Dogger, because that would make Dave happy. So they both slept peacefully in their bed. And that's the end of the story. How did you like it? If you did, click the like button. Also, share it with your friends so that they too can enjoy the story. To hear a new story every week, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. There are many more stories there. Enjoy the next one. Bye.